And the tracks, the BMX tracks, are starting to open up. A couple tracks had some good renovations going on, some upgrades.
Oh my God! More rational bike routes, safer for pedestrians, streetscape improvements.
A lot of people have been riding real reckless on the e-bikes, giving e-bikes a bad name. They went from asphalt to concrete. That berm's looking real nice. It's funny how they hate on the e-bikes, but these e-scooter guys, crazy, bro. The mayor did the whole ride, all 40 miles. What? They have a lot of skate parks and stuff like that, and they don't welcome bikes. Bikes are not welcome, made for skaters only. Part of the reason why we have that issue is because we're never invited to the meetings. Somebody made a change.org petition for a pump track in Nassau County, but I live in Suffolk County. I'm not gonna support that. If we showed up 200 deep in one of those Zoom meetings talking about we wanna have a pump track, a paved pump track, then we really make an impact. So party people, there's a lot going on right now in the game. So much news, so much stuff going on. Gee whiz, it's crazy right now in the world. But there is some good bike news. I'm gonna stay over here and take this little dirt path, which should be part of the bike path. Should be paved, because no real shoulder right there. We've seen that before. All they gotta do is fix it. It'd be perfect for this section of Route 112, especially if you ride your bike on this route here. Anyways, yeah, so let's start with it's May now. And the tracks, the BMX tracks, are starting to open up. A couple tracks had some good renovations going on, some upgrades. We got Huntington County's getting the new starting gate.
Oh my God!
HC BMX in New Jersey, out there in Flemington. Bella Rica in Massachusetts. These are the Northeast BMX tracks, up in the Northeast. Bella Rica in Massachusetts. They got a new first turn. They paved it with concrete pavement on that bad boy, looking real nice. Shore BMX out here in Long Island, not too far from here. They got the starting hill repaved. They already got a starting gate, which is amazing. I think it's a barrel gate. Yeah, it's a barrel starting gate. But they repaved the actual starting hill that you go down, put some nice lines on it, all the way to the first jump. So it's looking real good. There's probably some more work gonna get done. Gonna fine tune some of the jumps and all of that. Of course, you know Egg Harbor already open for the season out there in New Jersey, Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. They got all the berms got done over. They made the second straight longer. They have a really nice line there. It's a table to a double, to a roller, to another double. A lot of fun. I gotta get back there and try and clear all that. I gotta try and clear all that stuff. A nice big second straight. Third straight's nice. Last straight's real nice. Everything real nice about Egg Harbor. You got, who else? All the tracks right now are pretty much open with the exception of a few. Trumbull should be opening soon. They've been doing an amazing job promoting their work days and also their new berm builds. They're redoing all 3 berms. They got 2 done already. By the time this recording goes up, they'll probably have the other berm done. So the first berm was the first one. They called it the Shark. They went from asphalt and made into a concrete berm. Nice, deep, tall. It should hug you really nice at the high speeds. They also finished the third berm. Same thing. They went from asphalt to concrete. That berm's looking real nice. And then I haven't seen the second one yet as of this recording. But I'm pretty sure by the time I post this bad boy up, it'll be done.
Over so quick. to get to the middle of the track. And then, yeah. So come on down, give us a hand. Rakes, shovels, let's get this thing going. It's dry, it hasn't rained yet, so it's rideable.
There's also going to be a national there this year, right? If I'm mistaken, we got a big old national at Trumbull this year. So that's going to be awesome. Should be called the New England Nationals. So be on the lookout for that. Maybe I'll post the date for that on here. If you guys want to go to a big BMX race, check out all the new and amazing BMX racing bikes that are available. Check out some racing. You guys can join up too and race if you want. They have classes for every age group and discipline. Whether you're a 3-year-old novice, 20-year-old expert, 50-year-old, doesn't matter. 60, 70, 80, don't matter. There's gonna be a class for you. And that's the cool thing about nationals, is that those big races, there's usually a class for every age group and every discipline. Oh, whew. So you can race your 20-inch in class. We call that class. Or you can race your cruiser. If you're a novice, you can race your cruiser or your mountain bike or your dirt jumper in novice class. So novice class is like an open wheel class. So they have these, you guys know what an open wheel class is when you can race any size bike together. So you can race along with a 20-inch against 24, whatever. There's a lot of glass over here. I hope I don't pay a price for that. A lot of glass, a lot of debris over there. But yeah, so as a novice, you can come there with your 29-inch BMX bike, your SE bike, whatever, 26, 27.5, dirt jumper, mountain bike, and hop in a race and get busy. Then you also have cruiser classes. That's for any bike that has a 22.5-inch wheel size or bigger. So once again, you can bring your cruisers and your mountain bikes. You can even race your cyclocross bike in those classes. I did that last year on my Ozark Trail and do it again this year. So everybody's welcome. Usually they have 3 types of memberships. You can do a temporary. If you haven't raced before, you can just sign up day of. You get one, I think it's 1 day of a free membership. You still have to pay to race, but you get 1 day of a free membership. Then you have the, what's it, a 30-day? I think it's a 30-day one. And then there's the year membership. If you want to be a member for a year, I think it's still $80 to be a member for the whole year. And that gives you access to all the 300 plus tracks that are in the country. So no matter where you're at in the country, you got your bike, you buy a track, you can hop up on that bad boy. And all you gotta do is just pay the race for the day. And that's it. Now the bigger races like the nationals, they cost a little money. I think nationals now, if you're gonna race a national, I think it's $80 to race a national. The state races are $35 per bike. And locals go from anywhere between, what, $10 to $15 to race. That includes practice time and all that good stuff. And if the track stays open afterwards and all that, it covers all of that. And you have to pay to race each class. So if you have your 20-inch with you and you want to race your 20-inch class, that's one fee. And if you have your cruiser with you as well, and you want to race the cruiser class, you gotta pay another fee for that, for your cruiser. I think they give you a discount if you use multiple bikes, so you don't pay the full price, I think, at the bigger races. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there is that. But yeah, so we're in May, so all the tracks should be open by now. If not, they're opening real soon. If you live in the New York area, New York City, Long Island, you have several tracks to choose from that are what we would say relatively close. Not super close, but relatively close. Anybody in Long Island, you know we have Shoreham BMX, which is out Wading River, New York. Exit 68 on the LIE. You can catch the Port Jefferson train, ride your bike about 10 miles and hit the track. It's a nice little bike path you can follow called the Rail Trail. Takes you right to the track. So you have that. That's Long Island. Other than that, you gotta go upstate Jersey or Connecticut. So the closest tracks in proximity to the city are Trumbull BMX, which is probably the closest from the city, if you live in the city, especially if you live uptown, baby. I'd say the next one would be Central Jersey BMX, CJ BMX, probably the next closest. Then you have New Paltz, upstate New York, which is almost, it's pretty even with what do you call it? CJ. After CJ, New Paltz, you got Hunterdon County, New Jersey, Flemington, next closest. After that, I would say Kingston, New York would be the next closest. We go in so opposite directions with the tracks, but I'm just trying to do it closeness wise. After Kingston, I'd say the other Jersey track, Bethel BMX. Shout out to Don Olson. 44 years in business, still going strong. I think they're making some updates to their track too this year, maybe next year. Stay tuned for that. Cool thing about Bethel is even when it's not open for racing, it's open to the public, weather permitting. Same thing with Egg Harbor, EHT, Egg Harbor Township BMX track, open to the public, weather permitting. So you can go there, just hop on the track and have some fun on a non-race day. The other tracks you have to go on the designated day they have for racing. So, and I'm just talking about Northeast. I'm not even talking about the rest of the tracks we got. We got mad tracks all over the country. Woo! Massachusetts tracks are open. They got plenty of tracks in Massachusetts. They got track Vermont. You can even hit the Canada tracks if you want to do so. Some tracks in Canada, not too far from, I believe there's a track not too far from Binghamton. Not Binghamton, I'm sorry, Buffalo. Something like that. So there's lots of options, party people. Lots of options. Definitely check it out, you know. Don't be intimidated by the BMX track. It's not as crazy as you think. The problem is people get too comfortable too quick, do the most, and wind up messing themselves up. So just definitely take your time, that's all. And it also helps you get your overall bicycle handling skills together. So if you want to be a better road cyclist, mountain biker, cyclocross rider, come on down to the BMX track, get some laps in and learn how to really finesse your bike. I'm telling you, you'll thank me later. Woo. All right, so we're making moves. A little bit, making moves. Make moves. Other things going on is a lot of talk online and in the news about e-bikes and regulating e-bikes, banning e-bikes, all that good stuff. A lot of people have been riding real reckless on the e-bikes, giving e-bikes a bad name. You know, a lot of kids riding reckless, doing all of the wheelie stuff, and not the wheelie stuff, but doing wheelies, you know, like in front of cars, or just like violating basically. Those are motor vehicles, and motor vehicles have to abide by certain rules, and anybody else who rides a motorcycle or any motorized bicycle usually have to get a license. But you have this crazy e-bike craze going on, and parents somehow finding money for e-bikes and not bicycles. You have a bunch of kids out there getting busy, but they riding real reckless, and there's already a hatred for bicycles and e-bikes anyway by motorists. So it does not help when you're riding your bike a little crazy. Even though I did cross the street right there, but I wasn't playing chicken with the car, so all good. But you know what I mean. So there's just people want to find a reason to hate something or a reason to be mad at something, and the latest thing now is the e-bikes. So one bad e-biker makes all bad e-biker look bad. So now they're trying to make legislation to ban kids from riding e-bikes, so you have to be 16 years old or older, basically the same age that you would get a license or a learner's permit. They're making that rule, and that makes sense because these are not bikes that only go like 5 miles an hour or something like that. These things can reach up to 40, 50 miles an hour. Same thing with those scooters. It's funny how they hate on the e-bikes, but these e-scooter guys, crazy, bro. Them things go super fast. They come flying by people, and they're just as reckless on the scooters. But for some reason, people just don't like bikes for whatever reason. The whole perception of bike hate is crazy to me. But yeah, so the e-bikers have it worse than the e-scooter guys, and them dudes be flying. I don't know if you've ever seen my videos where I'm going over Williamsburg Bridge and you see these guys on the scooters flying by. Nobody talks enough about that. If you're gonna regulate the e-bikes, you definitely need to regulate them e-scooters. For real, for real. You got kids coming to the pump tracks and the bike parks because now you got some of the pro e-bike guys riding their e-bikes at the dirt jumps. So what happens? Kids go home, they want to copy that. Problem with that is the dirt jumps are man-made, made by hand, and they have to be maintained in order for us guys who they're actually built for can enjoy them. And you also don't want them to erode and get messed up. But these kids feel entitled to ride them during. Why? Because they see their favorite e-biker, e-bike pro, dirt bike pro, hitting up the local dirt jump section at a BMX spot so they can get some views and some likes. So now all these kids feel like they're entitled to go to your local trail and destroy them. I knew that was gonna come. Now before those videos of cats doing that stuff, you really didn't have a big problem with e-bikes. Now it's a big problem. And of course kids, they don't listen. They wait for you to leave and then ride it anyway. When they can simply just get a mountain bike or a BMX bike and just ride those there. It's the same difference. It'll also make you better at riding your dirt bike and your Sauron or whatever without damaging the trails. You'll actually have a leg up on anybody else who rides that doesn't do it. So I've been trying to educate the kids about that. But I guess it's not cool riding a regular pedal bike nowadays. But once again, these parents can't find money for a BMX bike, want to complain about how it's so expensive and blah, blah, blah. But then all of a sudden they can find money for an e-bike. But on the flip side, it kind of goes into an issue that we had a long time ago when everybody was riding dirt bikes back in the day, and they were closing up the spots where you can ride, and housing complexes were getting built in areas where they had motocross tracks and things like that. especially up here in New York and Long Island and stuff. There's not a lot of places for you to actually ride a dirt bike. Not really. There's land for it, but there's no real designated places for that. Maybe a handful, and they probably cost a lot. So again, we have another problem with infrastructure and making places for kids to safely ride their e-bikes, their e-dirt bikes and things like that. You know, make a venue for that. And overall, we need more spaces for bikes in general. We have a lot of skate parks and stuff like that, and a lot of them they don't welcome bikes. Bikes are not welcome, made for skaters only. And part of the reason why we have that issue is because we're never invited to the meetings when they have these planning meetings for stuff like that. But on the flip side of that, our little BMX community don't get involved. So by the time all the paper, everything is all said and done, you have something that's not favorable to what you do on a bike. Now on the flip side of that, whenever we do stuff for bikes, let's say a paved pump track, not a dirt pump track, but a paved pump track or a bike specific paved dirt jump line or whatever the case may be, it's naturally designed to benefit everybody. Mountain bike, skate, whatever. Not always true on the other side around when they do skate specific features. I think they do it on purpose. But I know if you guys look online, you'll find a whole bunch of skateboard videos where they're riding BMX pump tracks, bike parks and things like that. They're really big features. So there's that. Yeah, so we have to get more involved. The BMX, mountain bike, cyclocross community needs to come together and unify to let people know that there is a need for this type of things, and we can't be selective. You know, some people go, well, somebody made a change.org petition for a pump track in Nassau County, but I live in Suffolk County. I'm not going to support that. That's not how you do it, bro. If everybody gets behind all these projects or potential projects or these petitions in different places, it'll eventually trickle down closer to where you live. But we just got to get the 1, the 2, the 3 joints done. And the only way you can do that is if everybody supports it. Whether you're a rollerblader or whatever, and I'm talking paved pump tracks, rollerblader, ADA accessibility, skateboarder, BMX, mountain bike, cyclocross, even the road bike guys. You know, it's something for bikes. You should support it. Everybody, not just a select few who you think it'll benefit the most. Meanwhile, the same people who don't support something that's relatively local to where they're at will drive to Connecticut, to Mountain Creek. They'll take a plane to Bentonville. But when it comes time for you to stand up for your local spot, where are we at, people? So we all got to be vigilant on keeping track on what's going on in your local municipality when it comes to park upgrades, whether it's a playground, a multi-use space, or whatever. You definitely want to keep an eye out on that. Join the meetings. A lot of times there's Zoom meetings, or go to the town halls. Get involved, especially if you live in New York City, tri-state. It's very easy to find. New York is pretty transparent when it comes to finding out when they're having meetings on park renovations. NYC Parks, community input. They have a whole list of all the different meetings they're gonna have on their park renovations. Last year I was hopping in all them joints. I didn't care what it was. If it was a playground, multi-use, whatever, I was in the meetings like, yo, you need to put a pump track there or a pump feature for the kids or something. Some alternative play. A good term that the local, Parks Department officials and stuff can wrap their head around is the term bicycle playground. So it's like a understandable pitch because you have bicycle, which we know, and playground, which we know. And you can kind of envision what that may be. So yes, better infrastructure for commuting on your bike is definitely needed, more of that. But we also need extended play places for bicycles, like bicycle playgrounds. Whenever you go to a playground, you see a whole bunch of families come to the playground. They got the kid on the bicycle. The kid rides the bike to the playground, hops off the bike, plays around, hops back on the bike, and rides back home with their family. But just imagine the kid rides to the playground, and they have a whole bunch of features for them to have more fun on their bike. It helps them to balance themselves, focus, all that good stuff. You got all these different things involved when it comes to a bicycle playground. So more stuff going on is we had the New York City bike tour, 5-borough bike tour that happened over the weekend. I was gonna go and jump in. It's really expensive now. It's $200 to ride that thing. Back in the day, it was like $35-40 to ride it, and then they encourage you to raise money on behalf of the charity. Now, basically, you're paying for all of that up front, which at first I was like, that's whack. For people who want to ride it, at first, the bike tour it got really packed, and I think a way they tried to regulate that was to bring the price up. But at the end of the day, the money that you pay goes to a good cause. Yeah. For Bike New York, for education, for helmets, and anything bike related in the city that Bike New York takes care of. Campaigns for infrastructure and all that kind of stuff. So that's what the $200 goes to, and also pay for that whole big bike tour. So there is that. So I didn't wind up going. I woke up, I was a little tired, I was a little out of it. I was like, it's all right, I'm good. I should have went though, because it was a pretty nice day out. And the mayor Mamdani, did the whole ride, all 40 miles. What? Historic. No sitting mayor in New York City ever rode the entire 5-borough bike tour. So that's the first for New York. Pretty cool too. And he didn't ride a city bike either. He rode his mountain bike. I think it was a mountain bike or a hybrid or something like that. So that's what's up. And then also, in more bike news, if you guys didn't know already, before Mr. Eric Adams left office, he made a bill, a law where it made you into a misdemeanor or some nonsense if you went through a red light, basically making you a criminal if you go through a red light. Meanwhile, you could drive a car through a red light all day and be all right, you just get a ticket. But for bicycles, they want to make you public enemy number one, and give you a daggone misdemeanor for riding your bike through a stop sign or a red light. Mamdani came in office, took that away. Ain't having that. We ain't criminals. Come on, stop that. But yeah, so he got rid of that. Then he also, a video I just saw recently that I missed was a video where they were on Delancey Street at the entrance to the Williamsburg Bridge, and they were talking about bicycle infrastructure and the need for more and better bicycle infrastructure in the city.
We're really excited to kick off a $70 million more comprehensive redesign of Delancey Street and the bridge landing here into a real public space. with more rational bike routes, safer for pedestrians, streetscape improvements, and bike connections going all the way down to the Bowery.
You will find a cyclist biking on a pavement, and sometimes when you ask them why they're doing so, they'll point to the car that's driving in the bike lane. We have to make sure that everyone actually has a place where they can get around this city in a safe manner and that they can trust the safety of that infrastructure. That's also what we're going to be doing.
But I have to admit, there are some really good bike paths in the city, especially the west side. The west side highway joint is really nice. Takes you from Battery Park all the way up to Inwood Park. And it's real nice. Nice long, I think it's like 12, 13 miles. And right now they're currently trying to make that whole thing wrap around the east side and take you all the way up to Dyckman Street. There's bits and pieces of it that are done already, but they're adding on. They're adding parks. There's like a nice big park they're putting in between the Brooklyn Bridge and Brooklyn, Manhattan, Williamsburg Bridge right there in the waterfront. And that was another community input meeting thing that we didn't know about. I found out about it late last year. It was already too late. They had the design ready and all that, but that was one of those joints where if we were on top of it and we knew about it, we could have went and voiced our want for a pump track right there, right across the water from where the old pump track was in Brooklyn. Imagine a paved pump track right there, just off the Williamsburg Bridge. I wish I knew about that when they were doing the input meetings or whatever they were doing to get that approved. But nope, it's gonna be more baseball fields, more soccer fields, and I'm pretty sure lots of pickleball. And of course, a dog park. You know it, I know it. And the reason why those get done all over the place is because people go to these meetings and that's what they ask for. So the only thing people know in these municipalities, the Parks Department, they know there's a need for that. I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I went to a meeting last year, Parks Department meeting, community input meeting, and we talked about pump tracks and stuff like that, right? And they said, yo, you got to get some more people to join these meetings. There was a meeting recently where 200 people showed up for, what is it? Bicycle, oh, I forgot the name of that sport. It's not bicycle hockey, it's bicycle something. You know, the bicycle game when you hit the ball around, that bike game. There was a bicycle polo, something like that. Whatever game that is where you hit, you sit on your bike and you hit the ball around. And they said 200 people showed up to one of their meetings talking about they want to have a place for bicycle polo. It made a huge impact, and now it's on their radar. So that's what we gotta do, man. We have to go deep into these meetings, pile it up, and let them know what we want, what we need at these local municipalities. That's the only way we're gonna make that change and get things done. If we showed up 200 deep in one of those Zoom meetings talking about we want to have a pump track, a paved pump track, then we're really making an impact. So definitely you want to do that. And I think now is the time. You know, we have this new administration. It's very, very about doing stuff for the people, and already a bike-friendly administration in New York City. I don't know about Long Island though, but New York City definitely. So at least, you know, if we all rally up on these New York City meetings, you know, Queens, Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island meetings, we get involved, we might get what we want, at least in the city, and then we can rinse and repeat and do the same thing in Long Island. So yeah, right now currently in New York City we have High Bridge Bike Park, mountain bike trails, pump track, dirt pump track, dirt jumps. You have Cunningham, of course, you always see me go there. Dirt jumps, mountain bike trails, pump track. Then you have Wolf Pond and Staten Island, which has mountain bike trails, and they want to get back to making some other features like pump track, dirt jumps and stuff like that. And we need more. I mean, you got Inwood Park, which has a lot of room. You got Van Cortlandt, which has a ton of room. But they have a big anti-mountain bike organization up there, man. They don't want no mountain bike trails in that big park. It's crazy. But they do have a bike path in there. A really nice one that I have to go on. Whew. But yeah, we made it to the train station. Train's pulling up right now, party people. So I'm going to get up on out of here. I was going to talk about more stuff, but I wound up talking about a handful of things. But yeah, I'm going to try and do some more like newsy news updates about bikes and things that's going on. Hope you guys enjoy it on my rides. Check out Al Rides Bikes, which is my other YouTube channel where I ride. I put this one on the Crazy Al CAYNE channel because it's a little newsy. But I definitely want you guys to check out my multiple rides that I do on Al Rides Bikes. And of course, you know, we posting all kind of good treats over here too. So stay tuned for some more goodies. I'm gonna hop on this train. I think it's going to Penn Station. Gotta get my ticket. And that's it, party people. Hopefully this is a bike car. Yeah, it is a bike car. Nice. All right, y'all, party people. So I'm out.